Welcome back on this glorious and amazing day, the third video in the series of Life is Unfair. So now before you ask a child or your student to do something, really think 10 times if that's something that is appropriate or not appropriate. So for example, I'm just gonna throw up the first example that came to me, is that a mother that had a very, very hard, long day, and she just literally collapsed on the couch. And she looks at her child and she calls over the child and says, "I love you. I wish I wouldn't have to ask you, but I was on my feet for the last 10 hours. I made supper for you because I love you. I did A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Not that you have to justify it. Just give them a little picture of what's going on, because this came home from work. They just came home from school 5 minutes ago." And say, "Thank you for just even thank them. Thank you for getting me that bottle off the counter. I really appreciate it. Thank you." In most cases, if you have that respectful relationship to that child, the child will have the respectful relationship to you. I have heard something very, very wise from a very wise rabbi, and one of my mentors, the executive director of the Chabad Boys School in Toronto, and he said this to a group that he was giving a lecture, I would say, 22, 23, give or take 25 years ago. And he spoke about this rabbi, the sixth Chabad leader, Rabbi Yosef Schneerson. And he spoke about the great respect and how he adored his father. Throughout his talks, there was this wonderful, loving relationship. And everyone knows that part, but the latter part of his speech was very powerful. And he concluded by saying, it is because his father, the fifth rabbi of the Chabad movement, had that respect for his son. It was sort of mutual. When you have respect for your child will be willing to help you. But the moment your child feels, and children even at the age of 3 could feel it, they're not stupid. Children, humans are created in God's image, and they are smart, and they will know when you're taking advantage. And sadly, in most cases, we don't realize we do take advantage of our children. They become our secretaries even though they weren't hired. We decide to have a certain amount of children that we never even asked them if they want it. And because we can't cope with our plate, we can't cope with it within our plate. We can't cope with our 4 children or 12 or 17 children. We then start inviting our children to become our secretaries and help them even though they weren't in the decision making of creating this large family. If it's your decision to have as many children as you want, or if it's your decision even if you have 1 child, but to work around the clock and then to come home and to juggle more than you can, that's your decision. But do not bring your children into that decision. If you forgot to do something when you were downstairs and you came upstairs, which happened to me so many times, and I know my children actually would be happy to help me, but I wouldn't yell down the steps and say, "Oh, could you get me so-and-so?" Because I know I was down there. I know I was going to bring it upstairs. And I know I was forgetful. And I know justice tells my heart, and my heart tells justice. Don't use another human being because you forgot something downstairs. Of course, you could ask them if they're willing to. But what I started incorporating in my life, ways, especially I need it with my ADD, is how to remember when I go places. One of the things are, when I go downstairs, it's annoying to go again to get it and to bring it back upstairs. But that annoyance was good for me. I will never take advantage of someone only because I'm their dad or I'm their caretaker or only because I'm their teacher, even if children are willing to do it. There is a very big difference of helping one another or using one another. They look alike. Let me say it again. There is a very big difference of helping a parent or a teacher or a caretaker or using a child or a student or a disciple. They look alike, but they're very, very different. Slamming a hammer on the table looks the same, but if you don't look at the bottom, you're in trouble because you don't know if that hammer was knocked into a nail or onto someone's finger. Please join me next week as we continue on. But till then, if you like this video, one thumbs up, because that will help this video help others. Because I cannot do it, only you can. And if you do one thumbs up to you, or if you don't, I want to have at least 5 thumbs up for the awesome you. Always do remember, you are way greater than you think you are.